Welcome back to Candy's Classic Game Shrine, everyone. Today we're not really in the shrine, we're kind of in my kitchen, because there's more space to film this right now. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create your own amiibo stand, kind of like the one you see here. Your dimensions can vary, but this is just basically a quick how-to if you want to know how I made mine. What you see before you is pretty much all you'll need. So I have a Dremel. If you have access to a saw, that's even better. Some tape measure. I use a caliper as well for even more precise measurements. I have some dowel rods here. I got these from Home Depot. Let me see if I can get you the exact thing. There we go. This is the exact one that I have here. And we have some rattle can paint, some wood glue, and these here are the poplar wood boards that make up the shelves here. You can buy them in 5-packs. You can buy them as singles. I bought it as a multi-pack. But yeah, now that you know everything that you're gonna need, let's build some stuff. All right, everyone, we're outside and we're about to do some cutting for our amiibo shelves. Before we go any further, let me warn you ahead of time, since we're outside, there's gonna be a bit of road noise because of cars passing by on the other side of my fence. But yes, let me share the dimensions of the shelf that I'm going to be making. There will be 3 shelves, and the shelf portion measures 22 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. And then the legs for the shelves, you will need 2 6-inch long pieces for the back legs, and then you will need 8 small legs to hold the rest of the shelves up. And those smaller pieces will be 1 3/4 inches long. And I don't know if I've said it before, the long legs that go in the back are 6 inches long. In editing, I'm going to mute out the Dremel sound because it's loud and annoying and nobody really needs to hear that other than me. So let's go. I'll have to clean this bit off a little bit better, but there you go. You're gonna wanna maybe sand this so it's a little bit more smooth, but there's your shelf. You're gonna wanna do this 2 other times so that you have your 3 tiers for your amiibo, or honestly, you can put anything on it, but I'm gonna use it for amiibo. Now for this, it's kind of hard to see here, but I marked off where I needed to cut the individual pieces. I recommend everybody measure twice, so you only have to cut once. This is just extra. You can use it if you make more shelves, but this is all we will need for the rest of our 1 3-tiered shelf. All right, and there you go, guys. There are all the pieces that you need. You're gonna wanna maybe sand down the edges so that they're more flush and not as rough. But once you're done with that, it's time for painting. All right, now it's time to just start doing some painting. I'm gonna be using this can of rattle can paint right here. And I'm going to be doing it in a couple coats. Basically, I'm gonna paint the one side, let it dry, flip it, paint the other side. All right, and those are the shelves painted, at least on one side. Now to wait, flip them over and paint those, and then we gotta paint these. While this dries, I figured out a way to paint the legs of the amiibo stand with relative ease. So let me slide this out of the way and put the legs in place. Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Beetle. You may want to get out of the way, unless you want to huff spray paint fumes. But yes, my solution is relatively simple. I got a cardboard box, inverted some duct tape, and since the ends of the legs are flat, I just stuck them flat to the surface, and now I'll be able to paint them without them rolling over onto painted surfaces and smudging and all that stuff. If you don't have duct tape, you can use a little bit of glue. Elmer's glue stick will work, Elmer's liquid glue will work, Mod Podge will work, pretty much anything. All right, and that's the short legs done. The larger legs, I'm gonna have to work out something similar, but a little bit more sturdy because they're top heavy. So let's let everything else dry. So the fronts of the shelves have finished drying, so let's paint the back. You know the drill. Easy peasy, all done. Let this dry, and now let's work on the longer legs. Alrighty then, I have managed to fix things, except now my cat wants to get into the shot. Hello, Jackson. Say hello to YouTube. And you're gone. Okay, so he's camera shy. But basically what I did was what I mentioned before with the smaller sticks. If you're having trouble or don't have tape, just take a little bit of glue, put it on one end, and stick it to the box. So let's finish these up, and then we can assemble it. And that's it, guys. Just gotta let them dry, then you remove them, and we'll go back inside to assemble this thing. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I waited to record a little bit because there was a very loud car crash outside that would have messed up my shot. But let's continue assembling this now that everything is painted and dried. At this point, you're just gonna need some wood glue and the pieces that you painted. What I am going to do is attach the legs to each shelf and then attach each shelf to one another. feel like I'm building IKEA furniture. Don't worry too much about the excess glue. Depending on what glue you have, some will dry clear. If it doesn't, you can always trim the excess off with an X-Acto knife. So this shelf is done. We will slide this across and out of the way. Sorry for getting my big self through the camera lens there. Now this will be the middle shelf. This will only require 2. One here on this end and then one on the other end. All right, so I saved the slightly more annoying one for last. For this one, you're going to be attaching 4 legs to it, kind of like the first shelf. However, 2 of the legs are going to be pretty long, and you might want to prop them up so they don't tip over. So, let's add the glue. So now that there is a small one there, you're going to want to add another small one on the other side here. My hands are so shaky that I keep knocking that over. But now that the small ones are in place, it's time to add these large ones. And you're going to place them on the remaining corners. So I did a bit of MacGyvering, and I have these now set in a way that the taller legs will not topple over due to their height. Once everything has dried, we will fully assemble the rest of the shelf. Now that things have dried, it's time to finally assemble this in its final form. So I'm going to recommend putting this together in this fashion. You're going to take the bottom shelf with the 4 legs, turn it upright. You're going to leave the top shelf next to it here. And then you're going to take the shelf that we will be gluing, the middle shelf, and we will be resting it here and then letting it sit here until it dries. Now remember, when you're gluing this, you're going to want the feet facing away from these. Otherwise, you're going to put it on backwards. Once that's on there, you can just let that sit. And you let that dry. We'll come back and glue this to what will be this one piece. All right, folks, seems like this is dry. So now it's time to put the remaining glue on and put the last piece together. So you're gonna wanna flip this over and take this and just apply the glue and let it sit. So let's get the glue. And there we pretty much have it, folks. it is done. It just needs to dry. If you want, you can stencil in like special logos referring to each amiibo character, or you can just leave it plain. It's entirely up to you. I'm gonna leave it plain. Nobody's really gonna see underneath the amiibo. I just wanted something so that I could elevate them and show more of them. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this Tinker Time DIY, and I hope you found this useful. If you do make your own, feel free to share with me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And until next time, guys, take care.